Her say this time around pretty special because we are in County 002, Kwale County, where we'll be having the Mashujaa Day celebrations happening tomorrow, graced by His Excellency the President, that is William Samoei Ruto. And of course, we are eagerly waiting to see who are these people that we are going to be celebrating as a nation. That is for this important day. 142 people expected to be feted in different category, and later on the broadcast we'll be speaking to the PS, that is Culture and Heritage, Honorable, that is Umi Bashir, and she tells us some more in relation to what was the criteria of picking these persons that will be celebrated tomorrow as heroes, but of importance, what the celebrations will be like, what effort has been put to make sure that this ones that has been, or perhaps this celebration that has been termed basically a celebration that will be all about celebrating housing, the affordable housing program of the government is all set. So we'll be looking forward to that interview later on her say. But it's important that you are as well updated on what it is that is happening in the world of news. My name is Linda Alela. It's a pleasure to take you through this. But first, we take a look at the highlights.
Coming up on the broadcast. Tonight, staffers at the office of the Deputy President sent on compulsory leave. This comes amid reports that his security has been drastically cut down at his Madeira home. Plus, questions emerge over the legality of how the IEBC cleared Deputy President nominee Professor Kithure Kindiki and why it could scuttle the Gachagua replacement process.
That the replacement of a deputy president is a very hot soup. It is not the type of soup you lick in a hurry.
Also coming up, a section of families from the clashes-prone regions in Tana River County forced to live in makeshift camps, setting up a full-blown humanitarian crisis.
Masomo mpaka saa hii hawajaenda mashule kwa sababu wanaofia usalama wao bado ni kidogo. Full.
All right, and welcome back to the broadcast. TV47 Weekend Edition begins right away, the coastal edition, as we await the celebrations of the Mashujaa Day, that is tomorrow. But of course, it's important we take a look at all this, and we go straight to it, beginning with politics, where tonight the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's wars continue to be tighter. This as staffers, of course, in his office have been sent for compulsory leave, and making it even worse by seeing that there's an adjustment in relation to the security code of the DP. Of course, this happening even in his home in Madeira. Let's take a look at that. We'll be coming back to that with more details, but to this particular one that is related to the same is that the ceremony to swear in the Deputy President or the new Deputy President, that is Kindiki Kithure, is expected to happen early next week. But again, there is still, of course, the scenarios where we witness court battles that, of course, are blocking the process, and perhaps the impeachment of Deputy President or the former Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua. Meanwhile, the government is preparing to appeal the case, as Paul Kirubi now details.
Hours after Parliament approved Professor Kithure Kindiki's name as Rigathi Gachagua's successor, the next process set to culminate to the assumption of office has come with confusion, especially after all indications were that the event would be held today at the Uhuru Gardens. The process now set aside to early next week due to, among other things, the litany of cases that halted the process after Senate approved 5 out of 11 charges in the impeachment motion. The High Court in Kerugoya, through Justice Freda Mugambi, directed that the application be served and responded to forthwith for hearing inter partes on Tuesday, 22nd of October 2024 at 11 a.m. in the open court. In Nairobi County, the High Court issued temporary orders stopping replacement of DP Gachagua until the matter before the court is heard on October 24th this month undetermined. Most of these cases are expected to be heard come next week on Tuesday. Legal counsel representing the government are said to be preparing to appeal the court's decision. At the moment, all eyes are on the corridors of justice for a legal showdown of epic proportions expected next week, which could be a make or break for both Kindiki and Gachagua.
The fate of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is likely to be known few days to come if the petitions filed by his legal team will be heard and determined. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Karen, Nairobi.
And in the same breath, we have seen a section of human rights groups and families who lost their loved ones and their kin, that is during the Gen Z protest, and that is the anti-finance bill protest, have strongly condemned the appointment of Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Kithure Kindiki, as the new Deputy President to replace the former, who is Rigathi Gachagua. The details of this story with Samira Mohammed.
Kumaanisha hii Kenya unakuwa unafanya kitu mbaya unapromotiwa.
A day after the appointment of Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki to be the incoming Deputy President, reactions and emotions are at an all-time high.
Asipatie Kindiki hiyo kiti. Atafute tu mtu mwingine ampatie hiyo kiti, sababu Kindiki ni CS mwenye si mkweli. Na kama atakuwa ni CS mwenye si mkweli, kumaanisha watu wengi watapoteza uhai yao kama already ashakuwa deputy. Na akiwa CS vitu zenye ametufanyia si poa. Hata sisi akiwa deputy ndiye atakuwa hata worse.
We are disappointed by the appointment or nomination of Kithure Kindiki, Professor, as the new Deputy President. We had very many unfinished business with him. Of course, you will recall that we were still following up on the killings, the disappearances, which he gave the number as 132.
Kindiki being appointed or even thought of is so ridiculous, and such injustices happening to the families of our murdered comrades.
In Isli, we meet Edith Wanjiko, one of the parents who lost her son, Ibrahim Kamau, on June 25th during the Gen Z-led anti-finance bill protest dubbed Occupy Parliament.
Naitwa Edith Wanjiko. Mimi ni mzazi wa Ibrahim Kamau, na Ibrahim aliuliwa tarehe 25 June. Na mpaka leo tujipata justice yoyote. Na
Wanjiko, strongly opposing the appointment of Kindiki as Deputy President, set to replace Rigathi Gachagua, as 4 months later they are yet to get justice for the loss of their kins. She further slammed Kindiki for his statement when appearing before the Parliamentary Security Committee on not all protesters who lost their lives were shot by police officers.
Kindiki alikuwa anadanganya, si mkweli. Na saizi jana statement ya jana kuwa Ruto amemwappoint tena kama deputy wake. Mimi kwanza nimefeel vibaya sana. Kindiki kusema polisi si ndio wenye kufanya hiyo kazi ya kuuawa watoto. Mimi kwangu nilifeel vibaya sana kama mzazi.
Elsewhere, a section of human rights organizations and activists have strongly condemned the move by President Ruto. The rights groups and activists have strongly opposed President Ruto's appointment of Professor Kithure Kindiki for the human rights violations and atrocities committed by police officers against protesters during the Gen Z-led protest witnessed in the country. They further questioned the government on its role in arbitrary arrests, abductions and missing persons, further slamming Kindiki's ministry for its failure to protect the protesters during the Gen Z-led anti-finance bill protest.
Was it untimely, but also he was not the right person, to be given this position because he has very many unanswered questions that we still are expecting or were expecting that he would get back to Kenyans and respond to those issues.
Those who did not get justice, those whose families are still looking for them. So such a person being considered as the next DP means the country is really going to the dogs.
According to a rights group's reports, 61 people were said to have lost their lives in the protest, with 132 reported missing, with 100 left nursing injuries.
You will recall that we were still following up on the killings, the disappearances, which he gave the number as 132, and he was yet to come back to, give more information about this.
Samira Mohammed for TV47.
And so tonight, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's wars seem to be causing ripple effects across different strides. And of course, as we witness, staffers in his very own office sent to compulsory leave, that is with immediate effect as well. This comes as reports emerge that Gachagua, whose fate now lies with the court, has had his security detail as well heavily adjusted, that is to a lower level. Let's take a look at this story that has been compiled by Chichi Josephine.
Senate has resolved to remove from office by impeachment His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, AGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Accordingly, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, AGH, ceases to hold office.
A proclamation that came as the beginning to the end of Rigathi Gachagua's grip on power as Kenya's second in command. And just hours later, this internal memo signed by the Principal Administrative Secretary at the Office of the Deputy President, Patrick Mwangi, directing 108 staffers at the office to proceed on compulsory leave with immediate effect. The decision follows ongoing constitutional proceedings related to Gachagua's impeachment. In the memo dated October 18th, the directive affects all officers in job groups T and U. Mwangi also instructed all heads of departments to appoint responsible officers to oversee their respective departments during the leave period. These developments coming just hours after Parliament approved the nomination of Kithure Kindiki as Deputy President, bearing all the markings the kick-starting of a transition process. It is a move that has rubbed lawyer Lempa Soyanka, who says he is planning to challenge it in court. Mwangi also instructed all heads of departments to appoint responsible officers to oversee their respective departments during the leave period. All of these happening as Gachagua remains confined at the current hospital for the third day, where the glaring scale down in the security detail was evident. And today reports that his security at his Mathura home has also been scaled down.
Security must be returned because we know that they had already withdrawn, but we have a sitting deputy president, although he's actually in hospital. But even in hospital, we urge that security arrangement ionekane pale. Honorable member
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Allow.
Well, with the nomination and then subsequent approval of 4 deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, questions have come up over Kindiki, or that is it is Kindiki Kithure, and of course questions are coming up as to his clearance with an incomplete, as an independent electoral and boundaries commission, and of course Sheila Chelangat reports on the holes that have been poked on the Kindiki nomination.
The legality of the approval process of Professor Kithure Kindiki to serve as Kenya's third deputy president under the current constitution continues to raise legal questions. In the presidential memorandum of nomination on Friday, President William Ruto stated that he had sought and received confirmation from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission on Kindiki's qualification to serve as Kenya's number 2.
So far, so bad. We've had no commissioners at the IEBC. All what we have had is the Secretariat. And the Supreme Court has been very clear that the IEBC Commission is the commissioners.
Petitions in court highlighting that the IEBC is not fully constituted, which they argue makes it impossible to validate Kindiki's nomination.
A political process is also a constitutional process. The replacement of a deputy president is a very hot soup. It is not the type of soup you lick in a hurry.
Commission was left vacant after former IEBC Commissioner Wafula Chebukati and Commissioners Boya Mulu and Abdi Gulie completed their 6-year non-renewable contract. And the exit of the Cherera 4 who disputed the 2022 presidential election results announced by Chebukati before their term was completed. With the IEBC in limbo 1 year after vacancy, Kindiki clearance has been seen to have been done contrary to Articles 89 and 88 that requires the commission be adequately staffed to carry out its duties.
There is the reason why we have a constitution with clear institutions and with powers donated to those institutions is the whole doctrine of separation of powers. There is no way the president or the speaker of the National Assembly can usurp the powers of IEBC and say that I have done ABCD and therefore this person can approve this person.
Now all eyes are on the Court of Appeal after 2 high courts issued different orders stopping Kindiki from replacing Gachagua. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Well, we all agree that it's going to take some time for us to adjust from the name Rigathi Gachagua as Deputy President to that one of Kindiki Kithure, and therefore you might as well need to understand this. But then we proceed to a rather, joyous story where 3 Kenyans who were arrested for allegedly fishing illegally arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport early Thursday after months of hardship, that is without proper food in a foreign land. And now the men are calling on the government, that is, to intervene and to ensure that they get justice to them. And the release came just 2 weeks after TV47 highlighted this particular story. Let's take a look.
After TV47 highlighted the plight of the families of Kenya fishermen arrested and held in Madagascar for close to 4 months, the 3 were finally released to make their way home.
Nikijiona nimetua katika uwanja huu, najua ni safari mojawapo pia kuelekea nyumbani kwenda kukutana na familia.
It was a joyous moment for them and the family members who received them at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport upon their return.
Nasikia raha ambayo ajabu kabisa. Nina raha kabisa. Hata mamake sahi ana raha. Tungekuwa naye hapa lakini ni mgonjwa. Nimekuja naye mpaka Mombasa.
Shukrani kwa wale viongozi walioshughulika na kuweza kutufanyia msaada wote kutuweza kurudi nyumbani. Hasa sana wana media kwa kupeperusha zile habari zetu.
The 3, Barak Awadh Mbarak, Mohamed Bakari and Karisa Gona Nguma, are now pleading with the government agencies such as the Kenya Maritime Authority to be swift in handling urgent matters raised by Kenyans working in the sea.
Sio kila baharia anapopitia jambo anafaa chukuliwe pia yeye ako kwenye hatia. Wengine huwa ni katika mambo ya kulazimishwa. Kwa sababu baharia ni mtu wa kawaida kwenye chombo. Chombo kiko na kiongozi ambaye kwamba anakuwa responsible.
After several months of suffering in Madagascar, the fishermen are optimistic that things will change going forward.
Na nimefurahi sana kufika Kenya na nashukuru shirika la IHF kufanya msaidizi mkubwa sana kuweza kutufikisha hapa mahali kama hapa.
Nimesikia wenyewe shida kule gerezani hakuna chakula, lakini yule mama Betty ameplay big role. Big role. Wengebaki wa Sri Lanka kule ndio wako salama kupata chakula.
Even with the intervention by the government, the families of the fishermen want compensation after losing their catch during the arrest.
Afadhali bwana Joho, nataka ungilie kati hawa vijana walipwe waweze kupata haki zao.
The government agencies on their hand have promised not to allow such incidences to go without their attention.
When a vessel goes out there and things happen, for some of these documentations to be processed, if they had travel documents, it would have been a little bit easier.
Safety is paramount. We want our seafarers to go out and to be able to come back. We have been putting a lot of efforts towards safety, that is on terms of sensitization and actually ensuring that the vessels are safe.
Kawaida, naombeni sana tujaribu kutafuta vibali vya uvuvi ili tuweze kuingia katika uvuvi.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, we now come back to County 002 and indeed Kwale County. has undergone massive change in the recent days, of course, following preparations for the Mashujaa Day celebrations that are slated for tomorrow. And the slow town now buzzes with a lot of activities, contrary to what we have seen before. And of course, Chepto Boit takes us through this facelift process that has played out in Kwale County, which is actually gearing to host the national celebrations for the very first time tomorrow. Take a look.
Kwale County, from a slow town known for its quiet streets and laid-back atmosphere to a busy town bustling with life. Unpaved roads and sparse development used to define this area, but recent investment that came with the Mashujaa Day celebrations has left this town with significant urban growth and transformation. The Kwale Stadium now becomes one of the largest around the coastal region and has brought nothing short of massive changes.
Kama hii stadium yetu ilikuwa imejengwa tu nafasi ndogo, lakini kwa sababu ya sherehe kuletwa huku tunaona imejengwa, imekamilika.
Ilikuwa hatutegemei kama itakuwa hivi, lakini sasa tunashukuru aliyakuwa tumejengewa stadium. Ona, so biashara pia ni kazi imeimarika kidogo, si sana lakini kidogo.
Tumepanda juu na we hope if the county government itaweka mikakati muhimu, tutakuwa mbele na tutazidi kuwa na maendeleo zaidi.
This is the only building around this town with a lift, the Kwale County headquarters, which was launched after devolution. Old buildings have now been repainted ahead of the Mashujaa Day celebrations. Makeshift kiosks have been demolished to pave way for tree and flower planting.
Katika hali ya sanitation bila nini, na pia naona usalama umekuwa mzuri sana. Hasa kama itaendelea kama hivi na baadaye, basi tutafurahia katika Kwale nyingine.
Changes ziko kwa sababu ilikuwa barabara iko vibaya, lakini sasa hii ishatengenezwa, iko na kila mmoja anaweza kutembelea.
The residents here say previously power and water cuts were the order of the day, but since life moved into the villages, this is no longer the case.
Sisi tumenufaika kwa mambo mengi, kwanza barabara, pili kwa hiki kiwanja ambacho kimeweza kuwekwa hapa. Kimeleta maendeleo mengi.
Tulikuwa tujulikani huku Kwale kama kuna Kwale, lakini sasa sherehe kuletwa huku watu wamejua, wengine walikuwa hawajui kama kuna Kwale. Wataona Kwale, wajue kumbe Kwale nayo imeendelea.
Kwale County now adds up to the list of counties with a state lodge. This residence was transformed from a county commissioner's residence to a mini state lodge. Mashujaa celebrations now leave a significant impact in Kwale County. The once slow and empty town by 5 p.m. now buzzes with activities till late in the night. Chepto Boit, TV47, Kwale County.
Yes, let me remind you that we're stationed here to make sure that come tomorrow we give you a wall-to-wall coverage of the celebrations right here in Kwale County. Remember, the focus of the day will likely be about affordable housing. They say, Boma Yangu, I mean, definitely that is a move by the government to ensure that most of Kenyans get to enjoy the best of it, but of importance as well, speaking to just how best they can get accommodation for students through this initiative, and that picture will be painted to you tomorrow. Of course, my team right here, Apollo Kamau, as well as Chepto Boit, as you have seen that very story. But sticking to the coast, there is something that is rather sad, where tension remains high. That is in several areas in Tana River County. This following interclan clashes that have now claimed about 20 lives and injured scores. Well, additionally, we get to see families that have been displaced and learning, of course, interrupted in several schools, while parents are actually now raising concerns over the safety of their own learners, especially those ones that are taking KPSER and KCSE examinations. And of course, these are just away from their national examinations.
Tana River locals continue to bear the brunt of insecurity which has ravaged the area for weeks now. Hundreds of locals have been displaced, while about 20 have lost their lives in the interclan skirmish, narrated the challenges they are facing as they now have to live in temporary shelters after their homes were razed down in the interclan feuds that have continued for over 2 weeks now.
Hakuna mahali ya kukaa, ni lazima tuende huko juu. Huko juu hakuna nafasi ya kwenda. Tangi zetu za maji zimeshatolewa huko, hakuna maji. Manyumba ilikuwa tumejengwa wamechoma choma. Watu wanasema serikali mrudi huko, lakini sasa tutarudi wapi? Nyumba yenyewe huko zimechomwa, hatuna kitu. Hawa watu naona waanoli wamekuja hapa, tumewapokea kama huko wamefukuzwa kabisa. Tukawapokea kama micheleni, tukaomba mahema kidogo, ndio unaona wafunga pale.
Students here bear a double effect as they have not attended school for weeks now. KPSEA and KCSE candidates are even more worried as they are just days away from their national examinations.
Watoto masomo mpaka saa hii hawajaenda mashule kwa sababu wanaofia usalama wao bado ni kidogo hauko full, kwa sababu jana kulikuwa na watoto walienda Mororo High, walisema kuna pita za hapa na pale, kwa sababu unajua usalama uko lakini bado haijamarishwa vizuri. Sasa tulikuwa tunaomba pale sehemu za mashule kuwe na security ya kutosha. Ule mtoto akienda pale ile mtihani afanye kama juu hatujui wanaweza anguka kwa sababu unafanya mtihani uko na wasiwasi.
Since the clashes erupted, top leaders in the county, including Tana River Governor Godana Dado, as well as a host of legislators, have been questioned by security agencies. Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana is now urging the Ministry of Education to urgently consider laying down special intervention measures to ensure that candidates in the now troubled area do not miss their final examination.
Kuna wanafunzi wengi tunaona hawa watoto wamekosa shule na wengine hasa kuna mitihani ambayo ilikuwa ifanywe. Na tunaomba sana Wizara ya Elimu wapange mipangilio ambayo itawasaidia hawa watoto. Hawa watoto kukaa namna hii tunawapoteza.
Additionally, Senator Mungatana has called upon the warring factions to stop attacking each other, further calling for peaceful dispute resolution methods.
Na ilani tayari imetolewa na serikali na Inspector General wa Police ya kwamba zikifika sasa kama siku zinebaki kama 20 wataingia kuzitafuta hizi kwa nguvu. Na sisi tunajua miaka yote hawa wakiingia inakuwa shida na dhiki kwa wananchi. Kwa hivyo wale wanahusika, wale wameficha silaha haramu, tunataka wazisalimishe. Na sisi tunaomba tena wananchi tuweke amani.
Arnold Adidi, TV47.
Well, that's unfortunate. Peace now takes us for a quick short break. Remember, we're coming to you live from County 002, Kwale County, where the celebrations of Mashujaa Day will be taking center stage tomorrow. And we're here to ensure that you get that wall-to-wall coverage. And so we take this quick break, come back with more in relation to the preparations, but as well that important interview by the PS for Culture and Heritage, enlightening us on what to expect tomorrow. After this break, we come back with that.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
You're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. we dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa.
Welcome back to TV47 Weekend Edition, and by extension, Hase from Kwale County, County 002, as we all eagerly wait for tomorrow's Mashujaa Day celebrations. So we get straight to some more in the world of news, of course assisted by my sign language interpreter on the other end, who's Irene Chebi-Wart. And straight to it, President William Ruto tomorrow will proceed to lead the nation in commemorating the country's 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations. That is right here in Kwale County, and the celebrations themed around the affordable housing program are the very first to be held in the far-flung county, which has never hosted such an event or any national event. Take a look.
Kwale County will enter the history books on Sunday when it plays host to this year's Mashujaa Day celebrations, when the country honors its heroes and heroines. The county's newly built stadium, which can accommodate a 10,000 capacity crowd, will be the nation's focal attention when President William Ruto leads the nation in marking the 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations. Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo toured Kwale Stadium with security officers, assuring residents and visiting dignitaries of their security when the gates open at 4 a.m.
Ningependa tu kuwasihi wageni wetu ambao watakuja Kwale kwamba Kwale ni salama. Tumejipanga vilivyo kuhakikisha kwamba wageni wote ambao wanafika wameangaliwa sawasawa, mambo ya usalama imeangaziwa, na pia kuwashauri wananchi wa Kwale na kuwasihi kwamba hii ni fursa muhimu sana wamepata na ya kipekee kuweza kumpokea Mheshimiwa Rais hapo kesho ambaye atakuwa mgeni wetu mkuu.
Preparations were in high gear ready for Kwale's big day, with workers and county government officials putting final touches, including at Kwale State Lodge, which was initially County Commissioner's office. This year's celebrations are themed around affordable housing program, President Ruto's key plank in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto.
And I'm very happy to see that this whole visit, this whole tour of duty is not just another inspection of the guard of honor. Kama vile Waswahili wanasema kukwagua gwaride la heshima. We have tangible things that we can speak about. Number one, we have a whole stadium of 10,200 capacity.
The country's 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations are not only crucial to residents of Kwale County, who will showcase the best the county has to offer, but to President William Ruto's administration, which is drumming up support for the affordable housing program under the theme, Boma yangu, nyumba yangu, mimi ni shujaa. Apul Kamau, TV47 at Kwale Stadium.
Let's take it back to politics, and Kalonzo Musyoka, that is the Wiper Party leader, has blasted the Kenya Kwanza government over what he terms as undermining the law of the whole matter, or perhaps on the whole matter of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment process, which he says is an illegality as well politically instigated. And of course, speaking in Machakos County, where he attended various functions, Kalonzo has urged Deputy President-elect, that is, or nominee, Professor Kindiki Kithure, not to commit an illegality. That is, for he is a lawyer that is good standing in the country. Kalonzo says that the law requires any public officer who has been nominated in any political office to first of all resign before taking the office, and that he should proceed to apply for it.
Leo nimeona wamekuwa natoa tuwapigia wananchi wa Kenya makofi kwa sababu wametoa hiyo, walikuwa wanatoa mahema na kila kitu, meaning that at least they could not proceed. It must have been that the Chief Justice must have told them, we can't do this, we will not swear. We will not swear your candidate. And now a lot of things, Kenyans on social media, people are amazing. I have not checked that before you become deputy president or president or something, you should not be you should not have been a public officer for at least 6 months. It is there. Ruto na serikali yake have any idea about human feelings. Hakuna askari hata moja. And I want to confirm even the international community wameelewa Ruto ni mtu aina gani. Sio vile walikuwa wakimuona. As we speak, things have changed. And the international community is with the Kenyan people.
Walikuwa na furaha wakimtupia Gachagua mawe. Wajue Ruto akimalizana na Gachagua wako next. Umeona? Kama umepewa history lesson na wewe hutaki kusikia, wajue akimalizia huyo watakuwa next. Na yule atakuwa next kabisa ni yule ako na cheo. Kwa hivyo wewe ndio leader, wewe ndio utarukiwa kwanza.
Sasa mimi nashindwa watu wetu. Hii nchi imekuwa ni nchi ya mtu mmoja. Kenya is a country under the rule of law. The day we allow Kenya to become a country under the rule of man, one man called William Samoei Ruto, fellow Kenyans, to that extent we will be courting dictatorship. We will be courting disaster. Siku ya kesho ni siku ya mashujaa. Tomorrow mimi shujaa wangu ni Chief Justice Martha Koome.
Period, a government which want every Kenyan to say yes to whatever they want to do, even if it's killing our kids. I want to tell you, we'll not say yes. We'll tell you no, and we are going to say no to your imperiality and your crucifixion of our people.
Sports news brought to you by Maybet. Bet bila stake. Predict the outcome of 8 pre-selected games and win up to 100,000 shillings. Only at maybet.com.
All right, time for us to get sporty, where Kenya's rising stars, that is on Friday night, made history as they punched their first ever Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON ticket. That is following a commanding 4-0 win over Burundi in the semi-finals of the Under-20 AFCON CECAFA qualifiers. That is in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And that the national Under-20 side kept their composure, that is in the second half, to put Burundi on the sword with a jaw-dropping performance to qualify for the junior AFCON set for the next January in South Africa. Now strikes from Lawrence Okoth, Hassan Bejar.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips.
And development continuity after school, and a section of parents in Embu now want the national as well as the county governments to promote talent development, that is by providing enough as well as a quality sporting fields across the country. Now speaking during a sports day, that is at the Millbrook International School, that were held at the Moi International Stadium, or the Moi Stadium, that is in Embu, the concerned parents said that many talented students do not pursue the talents due to myriad of challenges. And now the school principal, Wilberforce Kidavi, observed that the nurturing and development of a talent is not so easy a process due to the cost constraints, as well as calling on the government to collaborate with schools, that is to ensure that sporting talents are then continued even after school.
This is our third sports day. We do it annually. So this year we are voicing collaboration. We want to see our young leaders collaborate well through sports, coordinate well through sports. We also want to create a culture of win-win whenever they are having issues.
And it's not just a normal sports day, it's a sports day where even the parents are involved. And it has created a very good, conducive environment for us even to interact and also see the talents that our kids have.
I think that what I learned from this is teamwork, because I have had to work with my teammates multiple times, and it went amazing.
This is a day where one can see what they are capable of doing in sports. Today, I've learned a lot, and one of the things that I've learned is full capacity of what somebody can do.
Sports news brought to you by Maybet. Bet Bila Stake. Predict the outcome of 8 pre-selected games and win up to 100,000 shillings. Only at maybet.com.
Well, and as earlier mentioned, we're expecting to, of course, have that interview that I had earlier on with the PS, that is Umi Bashir, that is in relation to what plays out as the preparations of the Mashujaa Day celebrations. The PS is the PS for culture as well as heritage. Unfortunately, due to some bit of technical hitch, we will not play that interview, but you need not to worry, because we'll certainly be here tomorrow as early as possible to keep you posted. We'll engage various people on the ground just so they can give us the feel of the people of Kwale. That is, now that the celebrations come here. But importance, of course, we remember that it's largely about the theme on affordable housing, and we seek to see what plays out tomorrow as we look forward to engage you. Well, I have to close it at this very point and prepare for tomorrow. It was great having you. It was great updating you. My name is Linda Alela. Do have yourself a lovely night as well. I appreciate my sign language interpreter. That is Irene Chebiwot on the other end. Do